largest streamers in what seems to be a very, very demonstrable pattern of abuse that he has been doing for a very long time. And now, as more information has come out, it seems to be a network of people that have been protecting him. Now, this happens to be a person, Destiny, Stephen Bonnell II, if you're not aware, who has been probably one of the most outspoken advocates in support of the actions of Israel over the course of the last year, debating academics on the topic. There doesn't seem to be a war crime that they don't have justification for, while at the same time, behind the scenes, had been doing a lot of fucked up and, frankly, criminal, by definition, behavior. If you're not aware of what got revealed, Pixie, who is another content creator who has, had interactions with Destiny in the past, is now suing Destiny for leaking without her consent sexual material that he had recorded of her. And now more people have come forward. More women have said that he had either released, sexual material to a third party without their consent, or filmed sexual material that they did not consent to even being made and were not aware that he was filming them at the time. The reporting on this, which you would think for sites like Dezuxto, like basically the drama site for all things related to streaming and streamers and all that kind of shit, you would have thought that this would have been fucking front page news, because after all, the things that they usually cover happen to be like what they consider drama related to streamers and shit like that. But surprise, surprise, they made one post about it that's buried deep within the site, and it's basically how Destiny denies all the allegations against him. Destiny is now stating that he in fact is the victim of these documents being released and all this kind of shit. He hasn't apologized to any of the victims. That's fucked up. They will do like a front page story if Pokimane happens to sell a cookie. Like she's selling like these cookies, and then all of a sudden it's like, Pokimane decides that she wants to rip off her male fans who are hardcore simps for everything that she does by selling super expensive cookies. Can you believe it? And all that kind of shit. Destiny shared sex videos of Pixie making her a victim of revenge porn. We've already read the statement by Pixie. I just want to reiterate that these are the statements and the logs and the discourse that Destiny has effectively admitted to sharing sexual material of Pixie without her consent. So just so we can get ahead of everyone being like, oh, well, this is he said, she said situation. No, he admitted to having done that. I'll read these logs one more time. Destiny, ugh, there shouldn't be no. I'm so sorry. There's literally zero excuse. I've had phone convos and stuff with this person. They were fairly close to me. It's worthless to say it at this point. I'm super sorry. There's literally no excuse. I won't say or confirm anything about them. If there's any particular action or thing I can do, just let me know. Destiny, apologizing in this case, but actually admitting that they had sent the material to a third party. This feels super lame, and I don't at all want to imply that someone just giving you money, somehow just giving you money helps anything or goes away or fixes anything for you. But if you have any bills or owe me money on anything or have any financial stuff I can help with, I can at the very least chip in to help with any of that. So at least there's one thing that you don't have to worry about or stress over while you're in and getting through this. Pixie says it's more complicated than that. I feel there's no justice for what's been done. I feel like people for the rest of my life are going to try and send it to my family or my workplace wherever I go. I feel extremely violated with how so many people saw me non-consensually in a vulnerable position. I feel like people are always going to use this as, quote, proof that I slept my way into whatever achievement I garner. I feel like it's evidence that everything would be better with me gone. Destiny says, I think the number of people who know or even keep up with it enough to go after you on this is probably almost zero. I think people hate the others involved. Me, Lauren, Nick, lol. And I don't know, that's the lol would imply that it's a joke, but I'm also, part of me is like, what the fuck is going on? Way more, and it overshadows everything a lot more. As for the achievements or anything like that, the majority of the work and stuff you've done is completely independent from me anyway, so the only people who would say anything like that are people who would have said shit like that anyway and aren't worth your time. Since I talked about this story yesterday, another person has come forward. Cherry. Destiny has blocked me and banned me and people supporting me from his community. I have not done anything besides ask him for an explanation, as I was assured this was something he didn't do to me. When I wasn't given one privately, I spoke publicly. I am not involved in any lawsuit or coordinating with anyone seeking justice due to the leaks in November, though they had my empathy and support in their efforts. It is only yesterday that I became aware that Destiny had recorded me while we had sex without my consent, and, with no regard to me, also shared that recording to others. 2 women now have let me know that they've received sexual recordings taken of me in September of 2023 without my consent. I thank them so much for their concern for me. No amount of public humiliation will ever make me regret being made aware of what was done to me. I will be filing a police report and pressing charges. These are very serious crimes. Really serious crimes. Like, what actually develops from this, where this is going to go, what's going to happen, I have absolutely no idea. It would not be the first time if Destiny happens to be someone who is going to simply try and weather the storm, and then in a couple weeks or maybe in a month come back to streaming. And when he does that, all of a sudden, I'm going to be taking a break from politics, but I'm going to continue to do coverage of other things, or I'm going to be, no longer able to stream on Kick, so I'm now streaming on Rumble. And surprise, surprise, you heard it here first. I all of a sudden have a lot more right-wing and conservative beliefs. I'm not the omni-liberal, I'm the omni-MAGA. I don't know. None of that is really important. What is important is that, like, these are very, very serious crimes that he's being accused of. It's happened to multiple victims. And, if there are still people within his community or within, the mythos of the parasocial relationship that a lot of these massive creators end up forming with their fans, where they think that they can do no wrong, I hope they can recognize how absolutely horrifying this behavior is. Erudite, not so erudite, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but she has been basically someone who's been producing content with Destiny for a while, the show being the Bridges podcast, and has been someone behind the scenes who has now had to release a statement based on everything that's happening. I can read the statement here. Statement: I only ever looked into the leaks and reached out to Pixie because I was concerned for her well-being. After I spoke with Pixie in person, she made clear her desire for me to bridge the gap between her and Steven, and her desire for as little attention on the leaks or anything identifying her as possible. Number one, both my involvement and my silence were at Pixie's request. My greatest concern this whole time has been her well-being. Here are the logs. I have never been interested in shutting down conversations about this topic, only mentions that narrow the question of who could have been leaked, again at Pixie's request. In the Facebook message, I explicitly tell to leave the comment up just to remove that part about the mutual friend, because this further increases the likelihood of people knowing it was Pixie or going through the trouble to verify the quote mutual friend in question. I just wanted to remove the comment. I would have done so. I would have not have reached out to FQ. Upon learning of the leaks and Pixie's potential involvement, I investigated privately, contacting Aaron. I then spoke to Pixie and Steven in person separately. I never defended, supported, or minimized Steven's sharing of Pixie's intimate images. Most of the conversations with Steven about this topic were in person and confrontational. I fought with him and advocated for reconnecting with Pixie. My mediation for Pixie ended when she opted to reach out to Steven directly because I felt unable to navigate the monetary requests. Note, these are DMs of our disagreements, but found this to substantiate the timing of my voice disagreement in pushing them. I viewed him as genuinely remorseful and acting to fix the harms that he had done, which is why I remained in a business partnership with him. I'm very disappointed and angry with him that he opted to not reconnect with Pixie. I learned of the allegations Cherry made yesterday. I support her and Pixie's decisions and the lawsuits and charges. I paused the Bridges releases, canceled guests, and will evaluate business relations as I learn more. I asked Steven for information, but he's uncomfortable sharing due to legal involvement. Everything here is released. All parties consent. My DMs with Pixie were not given to Sunday or others without Pixie's consent. This is Fairy Queen. You chose to continue working with a man who sexually abused your friend to the point of making her feel suicidal. Your coffee dates, heart emojis, and corporate therapy sessions with Pixie feel hollow when you've excused his actions by saying you, quote, viewed him as genuinely remorseful and acting to fix the harms he had done. This justification rings especially empty in light of recent information. For the record, my comment originally referred to, quote, female friends, not mutual friends. I never mentioned Pixie by name in that comment. In subsequent posts, I refrained from naming her until she made the choice to publicly announce the lawsuit against Steven. You were not alone in experiencing heartbreak over Steven's actions. Many others are in anguish as they come to terms with these leaks and their past friendship with him. Those individuals have my full sympathy and support, but unlike you, they chose to quietly distance themselves from Steven while refusing to engage publicly about the leaks. You could have followed Lonerbox's example, a quiet public statement about taking a break from the internet, a private refusal to associate with Steven until he made meaningful amends, and continued private support for Pixie would have been far more commendable, of course, of action. If you were truly remorseful, he would have, number one, publicly apologized to Pixie and Melina without compromising their identities. Number two, stepped away from streaming. Number three, sought professional help. And number four, compensate those he harmed. But Steven has done none of these things. I doubt he's even deleted the explicit videos he sent to the other women on Discord. Given the overwhelming number of messages Pixie has received from other women, I told you to leave him. You can't say that you weren't warned. Erudite says, hey, FQ, I get that you're mad at me, and that's fair. We've got our differences, but I want to ask you to think about the people involved in the leaks. I've been talking about them, and they really want as little attention on this as possible. Your comment is kind of confirming that it's them, which they're denying, and drawing more attention to it. For their sake, I'd really appreciate you consider removing that part of your comment. Number 1. Do you acknowledge that Melina is claiming Steven shared these videos without her consent? That's Steven's ex-wife. Number 2, have you confronted Steven privately about this? Number 3, will you disassociate from him for sharing another woman's sex tapes without her consent? The response was, gotcha. I'm not an extension of Steven. You're not a feminist. And then blocked. This seems to be an individual who has been protecting Destiny throughout this process. This was the leaked text messages between Not So Erudite and one of the victims. Other than what I mentioned, is there anything you were hoping to be brought up? I think I'm going to decide my next course of action of what to do with myself and him based on how the conversation goes. Unless you decide you don't want to talk to him, that's okay too. Basically, I have my plans and course of action paused and will continue something depending on if he agrees he has made amends for the action and wants to work with me to find a way that he doesn't feel that way I don't want to talk to him myself, because I feel like I'm tired of explaining what I was feeling and he didn't really understand. I also have a little anxious voice in my brain telling me to prepare for the worst because he probably won't care or doesn't care enough to willingly try and make up for his mistakes, and that means I'll have to start thinking of more extreme and nuclear options to deal with. But I'm trying to avoid spiraling down that line though, because I'm trying to hold out for hope. And just not to scare you, I'm 100% not going to do anything myself no matter what he says during a holiday season, because I don't want to traumatize my friends during a time that's supposed to be happy. And even if he responds negatively, that doesn't mean I'll go into auto unalive myself. I'll contemplate different courses of actions, including going public, and then if I can't take the amount of humiliation, then unaliving myself versus the plan before of scheduling a note after I die. I'm also still looking into lawyers, but I don't think I want to wait to see what he says before deciding to do the nuclear option. So Not So Erudite responds, can I share this with Steven? He communicated to me that he knows that he fucked up. There's no excuse at all, and he doesn't know what he can do to make it up. I'm trying to bridge between to help to make him understand what would make you feel that he understood what was wrong and should never do this again, or better yet, share this and anything you want with him. I felt like we talked, you really understood where I was coming from, and I hope you can better explain this than I can. Gotcha. Thanks for not sugarcoating anything about where you're at. I think what we talked about is what you needed. Number 1, help removing the video from online. Number 2, getting the guy who hacked charged. Number 3, a sense that Steven understands how he's in the wrong, he was, and a plan to prevent this from ever happening again. Is that what you feel you need? Yeah, the only problem is number 3, because even with the removal of the video and getting the guy hacked charged, Steven has to face consequences proportional to his actions. I want this to be the most expensive mistake of his life, and I'm essentially asking him to self-punish himself in a way that I don't think he will like or agree to do without the law involved. I don't have a dollar amount from the top of my head, it just has to be enough that for the rest of his life he thinks of the word nude, he associates it with the amount of money that he lost. Obviously, I don't want to make him destitute, but it should be large enough that he doesn't feel upset about it and it's not easily recoverable. Punishment. Okay, so that is what you want to pursue. It wasn't clear to me before that this is what you wanted specifically. My understanding was that it was more of a sense of rehabilitation and justice. There's a number of people who have either been orbiters, friends, associates, or people who have worked with Destiny at one point or another who have known about all of this. A lot of them are coming forward now to say, while they may have known about it, they didn't want to have the people involved, have to have their identities known or have the information come out to protect them. Stuff of that nature. While at the same time, I don't see an acknowledgement on the behalf of any of them that they're pushing this narrative that the files, the sensitive materials, the at this point now revenge porn had been hacked, not acknowledging that Steven had sent it to a third party without the consent of the individuals, or that the other victim in question had said that he had recorded them without her consent. The person defending him is Dan Saltman. And again, Dan Saltman, you might know from, not too long ago, basically running a pretty consistent campaign trying to get Hassan and other people who were speaking up for Palestinian liberation deplatformed on Twitch. It eventually led to his own deplatforming. I didn't know this, but Dan is actually involved in a number of very successful startups, including Redact. I don't know if anyone uses Redact, but Redact is one of those apps that you can download or use to be able to try and either erase your digital footprint, get rid of a whole bunch of prior tweets that you've made, do massive blocks, stuff like that. It is one of the most popular software apps for those kinds of services. Do you want to do a mass block campaign or a mass unblock campaign, stuff of that nature? That happens to be Dan. Also, the app Tiny Chat is amongst the other things that, he has been very successful. Anyone got archives of Dan's tweets? He's now wiping out his Twitter currently, reducing the amount of tweets that he's got. I don't know the reason why. I can't see if that's directly related to any of this.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, just always come off like you're sweeping if you say stuff like he's a sex addict and stuff like that.
What? The good part is I just genuinely don't give a fuck. As I said, I only care about myself, really, at the end of the day. So that's the only man I'm here to protect.
Dan Saltman, Destiny's co-host, downplaying and sweeping for Destiny, sweeping aka trying to hide evidence and stuff like that, despite having full knowledge of the Pixie situation at the time.
Or anything.
You guys are like forcing me to fucking sweep for Steve. Listen.
Well, no, do it. Go for it. Like
you seem forced to do this frequently.
Okay. First of all, okay, I would say that I'm pretty confident that everyone who was featured in these videos also sent videos of them and other people as well. But nobody talks about that.
That's a really fucked up, unverified claim to make. Hassan exposes the top mod of LSF as being a DGG orbiter.
Circulating around. The mods over at r/Destiny announced that Destiny would be responding soon and lock down any discussion of the drama. But leading up to this moment, apparently, people had tried to post Melina's clip saying Destiny had actually sent his sex tapes without her consent to random people. People were apparently deleting it at LSF because one of the moderators on Livestream Fails, the top moderator of Livestream Fails, Stale2000, I believe his username is a Destiny orbiter as well. They have actually maintained control over LSF for quite some time. Okay? Stale used to be a Twitch staffer as well. Back in the day, he was a Twitch staffer. And then he left Twitch. He became a Destiny community orbiter. He's even made videos on me on his YouTube channel as well. And he took over control over LSF in general, okay? That's why it was no mere accident that so many Destiny clips would keep appearing. Stale back in the day even was a fan of mine. Let me see if I...
Oh, to people asking, yeah, LSF is Livestream Fails. Basically, a subreddit where viral clips are posted, typically from streaming sites, but oftentimes it's from Twitch streaming sites, usually centered around drama.
I can find it. About Orbiter of the Year or something. He even had a video defending me.
Hassan received a...
saying Hassan Masterchef, the MCA strike could be fake. He was right, by the way. And I was right as well. Okay? Anyway, many, many years ago. So, in any case, his current Reddit username is Taro_card, not Stale2000, for those confused. Yes. Stale2000 is his username on YouTube. His active Reddit username, or the one he uses specifically to moderate LSF as the top mod at LSF, is Tarot_card, just so you understand. Okay? He has, in the past, according to his own YouTube page, competed for Top Orbiter of the Year as an award, or Top DGG of the Year, I think. Yeah, here it is.
I'm Stale2000, and I'm running for DG.
Oh my God.
December 2nd, 2021. Stale2000 for DGGer of the Year, which apparently is a competition in the Destiny community.
Oh my God. Sorry. I did not expect that.
Anyway, so he runs LSF now. Okay? Not sure what's going on LSF. Not sure what's going on with Stale in general right now in the last round of this controversy.
Who's Serf of the Year? No. See, I would never do that because that shit is cringe as fuck. Who worships me the most? Who among you worships me the most? Prove yourselves to me. Submit videos. Take time out of your day. Front of the page, not anywhere to be found when you scroll through like top stories or anything. You don't see anything about it. which you would think if someone is accused of criminal behavior by multiple women who have come forward now to say things like they were recorded without their consent and those recordings were then distributed to a third party, that doesn't make it anywhere on here? That's not even on the front page? I had to go to India Today Gaming to find an article that actually told like a much, I would say, fairer story. Destiny faces a revenge porn lawsuit from Pixie. Past accusations and controversies resurface. Pixie, a Twitch streamer and YouTuber, accused fellow content creator Stephen Destiny Bonnell II of sharing explicit images without her consent. She announced her intention to sue Destiny on Twitter, stating, on November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me a victim of revenge porn. I will be suing him in federal court. A history of allegations against Destiny. This is not the first time that Bonnell has faced accusations of this nature. 12 years ago, he was alleged to have shared explicit images of a fangirl known as Blue Tea. I didn't even know about this. I ended up having to look this up. This was from 13 years ago. Like, things like this have been happening for a very long time, and apparently, like I'm well aware of the logs where Destiny received to him.
So what is the admitting to jerking off to 15-year-olds then? What is that in relation to?
I never admitted to jerking off. I think I just said like this, I think the log is something like this 15-year-old chick was trying to send me, or was sending me pictures of herself and she was hot as fuck. It's like really hard to like turn down some of these people. I think
Wait, how old was she?
She said she was 15. And again, like some of it, I guess, sounds uncomfortable. Some people, like if you're being real, like a 21-year-old, 22-year-old, like there are some 15, 16-year-old chicks that like look pretty fucking hot. Like I can't help that. Like some people mature fucking older.
Assaulted Mia Rose on a stream 13 years ago, which had sparked outrage. Destiny's ex-wife has also confirmed the revenge porn rumors were done to me without my consent. A fourth alleged victim also posted on Twitter regarding the intimate audio recordings taken without her consent. She also stated the person who received the recording from Destiny was not aware I did not consent to the recording. They recognized me by my voice and messaged me. All in, as the lawsuit progresses, we might see more victims come forward and tell their stories as more information is brought about the case. Pixie published a Substack, posted my statement with her tweet detailing the allegations with fellow streamer Stephen Destiny Bonnell II. In the post, she accused Destiny of sharing explicit images without consent and actually described as revenge porn. She recounted that on November 29, 2024, Destiny distributed her intimate images to a 19-year-old individual who proceeded to make them public. Pixie expressed her feelings of betrayal and highlighted the emotional distress caused by Destiny. She also announced her intention to pursue legal action against Destiny in federal court. This Substack post has sparked a lot of discussion about privacy, consent, and ethical behavior within the streaming community, and the question of what else is to be exposed and be brought out in the open. Lily Pichu, who's famous for holding onto friends even if they do wrong on a very high degree or have questionable characters, also publicly unfollowed Destiny, making her stance clear in the situation. Hasanabi also addressed the controversy during a recent live stream. He emphasized the importance of consent and privacy within the streaming community and highlighted the emotional and psychological impact such actions can have on individuals and called for the need of accountability amongst content creators. Moderators on Destiny's subreddit have indicated that they will be making a statement regarding the lawsuit. Don't know what the future here will be, and we will see. Destiny said he's taking a break until at least February 1st, and I've told him that I'm going to leave him be until then. I truly plan on allowing this community to continue in whatever way it can. A lot of people here feel the same way, like they have nowhere else to go, myself included. I'll leave this thread unlocked, but I swear if it gets wild, I will just lock it. Edit locked. You just can't help yourselves with comments on these things when I specifically ask you not to. You know, this isn't just fucking drama. This is crime. These are crimes committed against individuals who did not consent to having these materials be shared, and that should be the takeaway from it. Not like, how can this be salvaged? Not well, where does this go from here, or what's the next phase going to be? I have no doubt that there's most likely going to be a Destiny Returns stream, or you know, a Destiny, even if he got kicked off of Kick, even if sponsors dropped him, you then just move on to Rumble. Like, how many times have we seen people who are either serial abusers or people who have committed you know, egregious or heinous activities suddenly find a new home on Rumble, or suddenly find a new home on a different streaming site? It seems like there is no such thing as like, you have been canceled as a result of this kind of shit. In the meantime, you know, watch if you need to be deprogrammed. Accounts like Destiny versus Destiny, which is a very popular TikTok account that unfortunately got mass flagged. I don't know by whom, but I think it's back up now, and I think they have other posts on other social media where they document all of the illogical fallacies in the arguments that he's been making, a lot of them more recently towards defending Israel and stuff like that, if that is like going to be your guiding compass throughout all this. But I think everyone should be taking this as an opportunity to, again, give the victims in question space to be able to feel safe in telling their stories, not to harass them, to allow them due legal process, and perhaps, getting the justice that they feel they deserve, and that, frankly, if this is all 100% true, they absolutely fucking do. And that should be, in an ideal world, the end of someone who's a serial abuser, and ideally could stop him from potentially harming other people.